I don't want to eat your footlong, Mr. Fogel.
My phone's ringing. Hello? Yes, this is indeed the manager of Karen's Murderers for Hire. How may I assist you today, sir? What is this?
Who the hell are you people?
Oh, sorry. I'm dealing with another client right now. You'll have to call me back, Mr. Putin. I'm so sorry about that mix-up. Hi, you ordered a murderer from us a few days ago. I don't know if you remember, and I'm really sorry that they came late, but we decided to just give them to you now so you didn't have to wait any longer. I hope that's okay.
Sure, but this is an actual murderer though, right? Just an actor?
Yes, of course. What were you planning to do with him anyway?
Nothing crazy, just film a commercial with him in it saying that crime is running rampant, stoking fear in the population, and forcing them to pay for my crime-fighting service.
But I thought there was already Ballman out there fighting crime.
Yes, but he's my rival. He's gonna be ineffective. I'm trying to make my own alternative, and it's all possible thanks to you, Karen, so thank you for stopping by.
What did you just call me, mister?
Nothing. I'm just gonna film my commercial now, alright? Bye. Thanks for coming.
Yes, hello? I see. So you need all the murderers money can buy, right? Wait a minute. Don't you already have that?
Okay, so I've decided that before we actually start filming this, that we should watch a few movies about murderers so we know how they work. We can get into their heads and figure out how they actually function. And I think I found a few good examples here of movies we can watch to learn about that. I've heard that this movie, The Strangers, is pretty big, so I think we should watch that. What do you say? Damn, you're committed to this role. I respect it.
The Strangers was a movie that I had on my radar for quite some time, as it was supposed to be one of the quintessential home invasion films, at least from the modern era. I haven't seen that many movies strictly dedicated to this subgenre, but I've definitely watched loads that include depictions of home invasions. Halloween and Creep come to mind, just two of my favorite movies of all time. So yeah, I was interested to see more of this type of horror film, as I personally think it's one of the most compelling. The idea of a violent force, especially one as incomprehensible as the pure evil of Michael Myers or the cunningly pathological Joseph, is terrifying to me, and The Strangers is all about that. It's a very simplistic movie. There aren't deep themes, there aren't that many characters, and it all takes place in one location, but I think that makes it so much more effective. You don't have to worry about tons of different characters who you can barely even remember getting slaughtered left and right just to artificially increase the body count and make the masses cheer at the spilling of blood, and you can focus on the disturbing alterations made to the one seemingly safe setting. The movie follows a couple that have just gone through a pretty difficult situation. The man proposed to his girlfriend and she rejected him as she simply didn't feel ready. We aren't sure of what happened between them and the exact reasons why it went the way it did, just as we later aren't sure of the motivations of the killers that traumatized the two down-to-earth characters. But perhaps this can lead us to indeed understand a deeper message hidden within the film after all. Maybe The Strangers is all about how complex people are. We don't know the intricacies of their relationship, and even the boyfriend doesn't understand her decision fully, but the effects that it has on him are still very real and tangible. This holds true with the horror side of the film too, as they are definitely impacted by the killers, though they don't understand them or their motives in the slightest. We're gradually shown more of what happened between them in the midst of the awkward dead air. The setting of it being 4 a.m. with very few other people anywhere close to where they're staying, and tension between the two of them, it's perfect for the build-up to scares. Eventually the man leaves and we're just left with the woman, who has already been emotionally weakened by the difficult situation with her boyfriend and is also likely extremely tired at 4 in the damn morning. I know I would be.
Hey, buddy, you must relate to this, right? Come on. This must be some great relatable humor for you, right? A great actor like you probably can't get up in the morning very easily. At least not without a big old pot of coffee. I'm so funny.
Things get really intense though. The way we feel connected to this woman because of the dark and isolating atmosphere is truly fantastic, and I felt really drawn into the story. Her actions when things get scary and a strange girl starts banging on the door as well are very logical, which makes it so easy to relate to her and become stressed too. When characters act stupid or are easily able to defend themselves, the threat may still be entertaining to watch, but it doesn't scare the audience. Even some of the best villains ever, like the Joker or Darth Vader, aren't exactly scary, at least not to me personally. Their opponents are also quite powerful, and the situation is not at all realistic. In this movie, or in, say, Creep though, the actions of the main characters are extremely down to earth, and the characters themselves are just as helpless and weak as the audience, if not more so. It's truly fantastic how they take their time and build up to the invaders appearing as the big jump scare where she peels back the curtain to reveal the most iconic of the three antagonists actually made me jump and scream. That has never happened before, and I think it goes to show how well The Strangers draws in the audience and makes you feel threatened and scared. The movie also does an excellent job of being logical. As I previously mentioned, the characters pretty much always do the most reasonable thing, which I think creates a very amusing situation. It's quite funny how people can often claim that horror movie characters are extremely dumb and that if they were in the same situation, they'd easily survive. Well, here comes a movie where the characters did everything I was thinking they should in my mind, and yet they still couldn't get so lucky. The killers are so smart and cunning, coming up with so many schemes to corner their prey. That's what makes it so scary too. The idea of the people wanting to hurt you just being so much better than you, to the point you can't escape or defeat them. This is especially genius when Glenn Howerton's character shows up. That's right, Dennis from Always Sunny is in this. It's pretty crazy. In an absolutely tragic yet kind of funny scene, he walks into the house while the main characters have a shotgun steadily aimed at the door. They've done something that is seemingly unbeatable. There are no other ways into the room, so the killers just can't get them without getting blasted. So how can the movie even go on? Glenn Howerton's character startles the couple and is shot, leading to some great displays of dramatic acting from the two of them, as the death fills the man with sorrow and sows some anger between them, dividing the already weakened victims as they feel that they have now become perpetrators too. After this, all hell breaks loose in a riveting third act with tons of twists and turns. The titular strangers are very intimidating for a multitude of reasons, and they really shine more than ever towards the end. All of it culminates in a tragic finale where the two lovers are slowly killed in front of each other. It's extremely heartbreaking and hard to watch, as the two of them have done nothing wrong, yet have been so horrifically treated. Innocence does not excuse them in the eyes of these cruel criminals, as they state their motivations to simply be, "You were home." This is a spine-chilling revelation, as it reinforces the idea that this could happen to anyone, even the viewer. And in the final scene, as the faceless killers drive away, having stolen the futures of so many, yet still having their own, we can hear the only speaking one mutter, "Next time, it will be easier." What an absolutely fantastic movie this was. It drew me in so much that I screamed, I cared about the characters, and was truly engaged the whole way through. It's fun as hell and works as great entertainment, but it also works for those who wish to seek out a more emotionally impactful type of horror film, which is why I loved it so much. I expected it to be good, but damn, it was absolutely amazing. I highly recommend it to anyone who can handle some disturbing, depressing, and even truly scary moments. 5 out of 5.
Wow, that was a really great movie. What did you think of it? Oh well, I guess I'll just have to watch the second movie and have all this delicious popcorn all by myself. Nothing? Okay.
Oh well, watching these movies alone is scarier anyway. 10 years after The Strangers released, a sequel came out that set the world on fire. Actually, no, it didn't do that whatsoever. This movie is very much forgotten, and I had heard a lot about the first movie, but its sequel is very rarely mentioned. Could it be that this movie is really so bad that it just shouldn't ever be mentioned? Or is it a hidden gem? Let's see. Well, the first noteworthy thing about the film is that the cast of characters is much bigger since there is now a family of 4 as opposed to just a couple. I think this is the logical next step for the series, and the bonds between the family members are incredible, whether that be the mother-daughter, father-son ones shown earlier, or the brother-sister one that is vital to the second half of the movie. These characters are compelling once again with the background following the daughter, who is about to be sent to a boarding school due to her bad behavior over the past year. The movie once again does an excellent job of using the gradual reveal of dramatic context to build up to the eventual horror, which is probably my favorite kind of movie. The daughter is played brilliantly by Bailey Madison, who most of you probably don't know, but I actually recognized her immediately because she was on none other than the GOAT of anthology horror shows, R.L. Stine's Haunting Hour. Oh man, I love that show. I have got to make a video about it at some point. Remind me of that in the comments. She does a great job as a traumatized main character who realizes the value of her family as it is taken away from her piece by piece and finds a connection to her past is the only way to gain the upper hand against her attackers. It's actually ingenious how the movie uses this. In order to fight against the male stranger during the riveting finale, she has to throw away the lighter that she uses while smoking, an activity which represents her rebellious attitude, and also has to pick up and swing a baseball bat, which is previously mentioned by her brother as something that she was never able to do when she was younger. I love that kind of stuff. These clever callbacks that also work as symbols for character development are truly fantastic, and remind me a lot of X and how it hinted at its characters' deaths throughout the movie. And speaking of X, the father is also played very well by the guy who played Wayne in that movie. He's great, and so's the brother. The actors are truly fantastic throughout the film, showing lots of emotional nuances and effectively drawing the audience into this horrific situation. I wouldn't say this movie is as scary as the first one. It didn't make me scream after all, but it's certainly an effective horror movie. Tons of jump scares like the car bursting through the RV all of a sudden, or the third stranger slipping out of the shadows and talking for the first time, are so fantastic because they're surprising and shocking, but don't feel cheap. I also love how this movie feels a lot more optimistic. If they had gone for the same tragic and depressing ending, I don't think it would have worked as well as the first movie since it's the second time they're doing this, so instead they went with a more positive and action-packed tone. Yes, this is probably why the movie isn't as scary, but I love how we see a legitimate struggle. The first half of the movie kind of tricks us by killing off the parents in quick succession, but then the siblings put up great fights against the strangers, with the brother killing one of them in an awesome and surprising scene, then fighting against the male one in an incredible stylish fight scene that goes in and out of the water. It's a fantastically shot movie, and this scene is probably the best display of that, with the constant shifting from the neon lights absorbing a slight bit of the dark night around the pool and the deep blue water where the two figures struggle to battle one another. I'd even argue this movie has better cinematography than the first one, as there were more stylish and memorable shots, especially at the end with the homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. The sister also dispatches of the stranger with the doll mask after what I'd argue is the only scene in the movie that I didn't really like. A police officer shows off and takes her into his hands, but then the stranger comes up and slits his throat. It is decent enough in the movie, but I think it would have been better if the girl saw the attacker, shouted out, and then before the officer could even fully turn around, he was stabbed. That would have felt a little less sudden and cheap, but it's still an effective scene overall for just shocking the audience. There's a lot of great dialogue that comes up throughout the movie too, which makes these characters feel alive, and that's really what I love the most about this movie and its predecessor. They feel real, they feel true, they feel honest. These characters are authentic and extremely well written, acted, and handled. If they did any dumb nonsense, it just wouldn't be the same. Sure, it may be a bit dumb of them to not take their phones with them or to go into the cabin with some dead bodies in it, but that's all at the very start before they know for sure that something bad is going on. Think about it. If you were just going on a trip with your family, especially during so much drama, would you immediately be focused on a threat that you don't know of, or would you still be thinking about your family members? I think it makes a lot of sense for a few dumb mistakes to take place at the beginning. I'd argue that that's very realistic. But once things actually are clearly going wrong, these characters are very smart and manage to fight back, which I really like. Sure, it's not as tragic or scary as the first movie, but with much more action-packed scenes, a phenomenal soundtrack, even more amazing performances, and breathtaking cinematography, I'd say that it's even better than what came before it. That's right, The Strangers is officially one of the best horror movie franchises I've ever seen, at least in terms of consistency. Not since the first two Conjuring movies has a movie franchise started off this strong. I really love both of these, even if they are a bit different, and I'd say they're both must-watches. But if you can't handle the intensity of the first one, then the second one is for you. And they're making a whole new trilogy of reboots? Let's go, that's gonna be awesome. 5 out of 5.
Come on, dude, you just missed an awesome movie. Where the hell even are you? Hey, there you are. Wait a minute. Is that a Walter the Germany Ball knife? Oh, I see what was going on here. You're an obsessed fan, huh? You were trying to get me to give you an autograph on that there knife, weren't you? Well, let me tell you, I am done with that life, okay? I don't want to hear any more of this nonsense about these knives. God, I'm so sick of it. I am focused on this crime-fighting thing now, okay? It's a noble goal, I swear, and I'm done being a con man. God, I should have known. I should have learned that working with murderers is a bad idea. I should have learned after Michael Myers. Well, that's just about enough of you, all right? Go on. Go. Get out of here. Go! That settles that. That was a real loss, though. But hey, maybe I can just hire something else, like, oh, maybe a supernatural deity next time. I mean, after all, I've got all this money. Where's all my money?
Yeah, boss. I got all the money. The job is